Imagine nowadays you were to wake up, Taylor Swift, gone, done, all socials wiped. You don't know where she is. America's it girl. Actually, like global it girl at this point.
She was in her era of her sparkling summer to the T.
We are actually going back to that time today. We were traveling back in time to Reputation era.
I have chills.
I know, because I really can't imagine waking up and having that happen over again. Like, we lived it. You guys know.
No.
Swiftie honor.
Literally, and while doing these notes today for this prepping, I actually had chills.
Really?
Because I would say I was like definitely aware of what was going on, but I was still so young.
Yeah.
So like, I think looking back on it, like reliving it, like every time I go back in time, it really just hits me of like, she did that.
I know. And like, if we're speaking to the music too, I feel like the music of that era has only it's aged like fine wine,
like fine wine. And it's so funny because I would never, but I don't ever say that Reputation's my favorite album, like in my favorites, but it actually, like, I listen to it a lot,
and it's a no skip album,
so it's like, why do I not say it? I don't know.
It doesn't get the love it deserves. We always say Evermore is like her, like, whatever, neglected baby, but like
Reputation's up there debut, because it's one of my most played, and I swear as I get older and older, I relate to it harder and more, for sure. And it's just so beautiful. Yeah. I can't wait to actually love someone with that.
Oh, God, you had to go there.
I think that the Reputation album just goes both ways. If you're like after a breakup or newly in love.
Oh, no, for sure.
Like, it's crazy.
For sure. And you know what I think too? It's like, we were there. We remember it. And in case you weren't there, we are going to break down everything to hopefully make it feel like you were there, because we went to 2 Reputation shows. We went to Detroit. We went to Cleveland, Ohio.
And this was before the whole like fighting for tickets.
Girl, I don't know how we got those tickets.
We were fighting, but we were lucky.
Yeah. No, definitely. One of the pairs we got off of Facebook.
Yeah.
Marketplace.
And it was like
different time back then.
Yeah. I remember so vividly us getting those concert tickets.
I do too.
Like, it's like one of my, I just remember it so well.
The thing is about that era, though, to me as well, is like, Taylor had such an angst inside of her. She had such an anger. And again, we'll get to why, but there's just, it's unreplicable.
It was unmatched at the time. It was like, no one saw it coming. No. In everyone's eyes, she was like red lips, lover girl, pop girl
era.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Literally a good girl.
That's what the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why?
Because she's dead.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Also, her like editorial looks are some of my favorite from that era. All of these magazine covers, like, so good. Aesthetic wise, Reputation era is one of my favorites. I feel like she has not, like, there's not been such a dynamic shift in her like realm and aesthetics. I feel like she's really good at dividing eras and aesthetics, but like this was like, maybe because it was so real. Yeah. You just couldn't, you know what I mean? There was just no other way to do it, but it's just unmatched, like you said. Great word for
buzz
it.
Cut and my hair bleached.
Bleachella, guys. We were looking back at that.
Which we talk about a lot. We are literally in Bleachella. Speaking of, we're in
Friedchella. Not only bleach, we fried.
We're Friedchella. That's so good.
Wait, are you even subscribed to our channel?
Oh my God. Wait, let me look. Okay, now I am.
Oh, yay. Okay, good. But really quick, let's travel back in time and see where it all began. Like, how did we get to Reputation era? That is the biggest question, right?
Right. Like, what made her do this? Yes. What made her black out?
Right. You need the preface. What's the book before? Like, what is
the prequel?
The prequel. Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah. She was literally like peak eras. As so she thought. Miss Americana tells that story of like that one scene. She's saying like, I'll never be at that most like hyped level ever again.
And love, just like
and love.
Everyone loved her.
So she thought,
how she felt,
which is so devastating. But again, before she was in her post 1989 era, she was winning album of the year
after a genre shift, might I add.
Going pop for the first time, like
a full pop album.
I remember it so well. I remember that being the big thing, like, she's really gonna be pop. What is that gonna be like?
I know. And then she did it, and she successfully did it, like everybody loved it.
Shake It Off went well. Blank Space literally like, it was amazing. And her reputation then was just overall amazing. And then it was pretty much cyclical of like every 3 years there was a new album. And until
yes, but I think that actually, remember, I thought that there was a quote around that time where she was like, I am kind of like seeping in the success of this. I don't want to pressure myself with a new project, basically. Like, I don't know if there's going to be, it's 3 years in between an album, 4 years, 1 year.
Okay, so it made everyone actually like a little bit weary.
Yeah, because it's like, and that was like, I think really before her actual Reputation era started. You know?
That makes sense.
And again, on top of the world. And then
boom. Crack down the middle. It seemingly looked like she had really good relationships with all around her. She had her friend group, including the girl squad, Kendall Jenner, Gigi Hadid. Yeah. So kind of similar. Like, I think Blake Lively was kind of a part of that.
For
Selena Gomez.
Sisters know still.
Maybe, I think so, because there were like a billion of them in that.
Carly Kloss,
like everyone is in there. And speaking of Kendall Jenner, Kim, like they were kind of in the same circle a little bit. Seemingly it was fine with Kimye, right? With Kanye.
Yeah.
He's like apologized many times after the VMA situation in 2009.
Yes.
And
you would assume everything was fine. They were like, I remember it being a thing, like I don't know if it was just from Kanye's side and Kim's, like their kind of triage of shooting it out into the world of that. Yeah. Look, we're fine. We're good. We're on good terms.
Yeah.
But I remember them like putting things out, being pictured together at like one of the award shows and making sure they were.
Everyone knew.
Whether it was both deciding that or just Kanye, you know? Yeah.
Kanye West dropped Famous. And that had a whole blow up to it because the lyrics of that song are, I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why I made that bitch famous.
Yeah.
And then there was a nasty, funky, unky music video with Taylor in the video. That is not Taylor. It was like a dead body. What's it called?
Yeah, like a replica or like a what is that called? A statue of her. And
like in the bed with Kanye and
a bunch of other famous people.
Yeah, a bunch of other famous people. And then it later came out like Taylor made a statement on it right away saying, I would very like to be like excluded from the statement from this narrative.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was like a big thing. And then that's where it really blew up because Kim went on Snapchat and like leaked their receipts, their phone call on Snapchat. Snapchat was so big at the time.
In that phone call, Kanye had called Taylor and it said, I wrote this song. Yeah. I want to get your permission. Is it okay that I say your name in it? It says, and she, like, you could tell she was like visibly awkward or like audibly, I guess, awkward sounding. You know what I mean? Like uncomfortable with it.
It says, wait a second, you sound sad.
Is it going to be mean?
No, I don't think it's mean. I feel like Taylor Swift might owe me sex.
That's not mean.
Okay.
I mean, I need to think about it because I just need to, like, you know, hear something for the first time and you just need to think about it.
Yeah.
Because it is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Where she was kind of like laughing. She's like, ha. They cut out the part where she kind of was expressing her concern about it. So what she said is, you're going to do what you want anyway. Which is not an approval. That's not giving your stamp of like, yes, use this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I remember it too being like, I don't know if she really said no to like him name dropping her. I think it was like the other part of the lyric of like, I would never let him call like, say we had sex and say we had like all these things.
Yeah, it wasn't about the name drop. It was like the context of it more so.
I think she didn't know.
Yeah, then Tree came out in the public saying she does not like accept that, she did not approve of this. And then they leaked the audio. That's, oh my God, it's all flooding back to me.
Yeah, because I remember that too, because it was like, so you would hear one thing and then you'd be on that side. You'd hear another and you'd be like on that side. Not that we were never on Taylor Swift's side.
Right.
I just remember in the moment being like, I don't know. Like, it was so confusing.
Yep.
Everything about it.
That was like where it really blew up because people took that as like, Taylor, you lying fucking.
Like, you lied. What I mean? Like, what did they use AI already back then?
Right. Like, literally.
Because that was crazy. Because I remember I feel like I didn't know what to think.
No,
because it was like, why is she saying this? But that's wrong.
You almost were a little bit bamboozled. You're like, why would Taylor lie like that.
And
like,
it was peak Kardashian. Like, it wasn't like so controversial of like, you can't trust them.
Right. They haven't shown their true colors at that point.
Yes, not at all.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, we love both.
Yeah.
And Kanye too. Honestly, Kanye was still in his like peak era.
He was making great music.
Like, he was not controversial. He was not being crazy.
No. No carnival.
And yeah, no carnival. On the Kim receipts, she put like a snake narrative, snake emojis sort of thing. Yeah. And that's actually where the snakes come from.
And I love, can I just add, nowadays looking back in retrospect, how she has reclaimed that snake emoji.
That's my favorite outcome of this all, and so powerful still about it just reclaiming it for yourself, being like, you want a snake? I'll show you a snake.
Thank you,
and
Amy.
Like, now when you see a snake, you think of Taylor.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, you think of Kim and like reputation and
ate it up.
Right. Taylor's team initially denied approving the lyric, and the edited phone call leaked, and there was a lot of backlash. Taylor actually put in her journal that this summer's the summer of apocalypses, and that was shown in the like later published Miss Americana documentary, I think, or like it later came out.
Oh yeah, okay.
But it's still interesting.
Very.
Like,
was that like the only thing that led up to Reputation, or were there other things? There was like Karlie Kloss fallout as well. Was there
Karlie
not?
Kloss, the Calvin Harris kind of thing came out. They
broke
up,
and then he was coming out against her and things like that.
Yeah, because he like was so mad. I think from what I take from it is like he was so mad because his biggest song is "Call Me What You Made" look at
this is what
you made for.
Wait, baby. This is what you came for.
This is what you came for with Rihanna. And Taylor co-wrote it. And then in an interview after it came out, literally like the week after it came out, he basically denied her writing it. Yeah. And saying like, oh no, she just was.
Her and Calvin Harris dated for a few years. Yeah. After that, blew up. He hated her, whatever. And then eventually came out. She wrote that song. She literally like
biggest song.
Dropped it somehow. I don't know how did she say that?
I don't remember either, but it did just recently come out. Like,
yeah, Taylor dropped it that she wanted to make sure that everybody knew at some point.
Yeah,
I was on that. Also, her vocals are on that song, and once you know that, you can hear it.
Yes,
it's deep in there, but you can hear it
now.
Yeah,
and the lyrics and everything. It's
right.
Like,
she had like all of those like little drama things. You know what I mean? And then like Katy Perry stuff, and I feel like the Kimye stuff was the straw that broke the camel's back.
I think so. I think that because that's what actually led to Taylor Swift's Over Party on Twitter, and.
Yes.
That
those don't exist anymore.
I remember it like override something else that was trending at the time too.
Oh, it took over.
It took over because remember the Reputation era or Reputation tour, like the opening, it's like, where's Taylor Swift? It was so like the news of drama.
Yes.
It was amazing. I still love that intro so much.
Yeah, no kidding.
People calling her manipulative and fake.
2016 was messy. Like Snapchat aside,
so
also, but like
messy.
Taylor's messy in 2016. Not even like just like her entire situation here. As I'm like reading through it, it's like
it just kept going.
Yeah, which we kind of already did a little bit of a thing with her relationship back with Joe and the timeline of that. Yeah. So we'll kind of breeze over that in case you've watched our Taylor Swift relationship timeline, but that kind of all is included because again, that kind of all revs up Reputation.
Yes, I agree.
Because it was all happening around the same time.
Yeah.
Breaks up with Calvin Harris.
Yeah.
Is seen kissing Tom Hiddleston a week later.
Goes to
the Met Gala dancing with Tom Hiddleston. And then guess who's freaking there?
Joe. William Bowery.
Also within that time frame, there was a big election that year. I remember Taylor got a lot of backlash about not talking about who she voted for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like expressing who she voted for and kind of like, what is it called when you like approve? She did not endorse Hillary. And so that was like a big thing part of this as well.
Which again, all leads back to Miss Americana. She talks about that. That's like I feel like her most political statement ever.
Yeah.
In that.
No.
Is like how she openly talks about that and is like gets into politics and.
Yeah.
Which is another outcome of this, I think, this Reputation era is like I think she found her voice
for sure
in the silence.
Right. Oh my God, that's beautiful, Jamie. That was beautiful. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my back.
Not that she wasn't before, but I think it really did give her a leeway of like recreating her brand and what she stands for.
No.
Because she's been vocal ever since about that.
She was like all over during this time too, like before like the quietness of Reputation that we're going to get to. But she was photographed all over, and then literally she was not photographed for 6 weeks in early 2017. And it made news and headlines that she was not, which is crazy because she was all over. And when she was photographed during that time, it was very clear that she did not want to be.
When was that video with Joe running to the car? Was that during this time? It was after.
I think it was somewhere in between.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Reputation era or not.
I don't remember either.
That was like their ball gown era.
Yeah.
I think people found out about their relationship, Joe and Taylor's, through paparazzi photos at one point, like after 9 months of them dating or something.
Yes.
And within that, she had her sexual assault trial.
I thought so.
Yes, where she won that $1 from that. It's like a big story. Taylor sued this man that she had met at a meet and greet in 2013, and she won the case for $1 and making a statement, and really, I think, starting a very big conversation, especially like leading into Me Too era and things like that.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yes.
Especially like the principle of it and everything with the dollar. Wonder what people were saying about it at that time. Do you think it helped her?
I don't know, because that's a great question, because again, all of this is happening around the same time. So I feel like it probably was pretty split. And at that time, it was not the same conversation that people have nowadays about those things.
Yeah, way different.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It was definitely more nuanced. That was like the last thing that happened.
Okay. And then she disappeared for sure.
Wiped all of her socials shortly after that. Okay. No one saw her for almost an entire year.
For an entire year.
Imagine that now. I would literally, I don't know.
She needs the break. There were so many speculations when she disappeared for so long. And then, like, I think it went both ways. I think a lot of the people in the public were like, oh, she's completely quitting. She's done. Yeah. I don't know if she's ever going to come back.
Yeah.
Like, so torn on it. And then the Swifties were like, no, she's just gearing up for a new album. Like,
right, like just chilling. It's fine. We know her heart.
Right. And I think that actually was like really the viewpoint for most Swifties when she first like went back to social media and just did the cryptic snake post.
Right.
Like, I think that's where their heads were like, oh, yeah, she's just coming back. Yeah, but fans were freaking out. She was quitting music. Was something big happening? For a celebrity, I think it was just so dramatic.
Right.
And she was just really hated.
She was.
So you didn't know where she was going. You didn't know she's coming back. What she was doing.
No.
Like,
and it definitely felt that way. Like, because again, in my head, whenever I'm on Swiftie Twitter, you're in like you're in your hole. But I do think, like, for me, I was like, I don't know, she's not hated. Like, even nowadays, people are like, oh, she's overexposed. And I'm like, I can understand the overexposedness, but like, I do get still a little shocked when she's getting booed at things like that. Like, you know what I mean? But because I just, again, I'm so pigeonholed on my social media stance. So I'm where
don't see that.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think that was my case back then. But there are various headlines around that time of her very clearly being torn apart, so to speak. Okay. And headlines again talking about all these things and just like really digging into her, really niching down on some of these things. Again, there were the political people that didn't like her for that. There were the Kanye fans which that was a whole different sector, because Kanye fans in general were crazy, especially at that time.
Yeah, it was another level.
Yeah, and then the Kim fans and the Kardashian stans who like hated her, did not, because also the Kardashian brand is a lot different than Taylor's brand has ever been. Like, they've always been very different.
Very different.
I remember also watching the Kardashians around that time and Kris being like, why don't you just call Taylor up? Oh, wait, that's where that comes from? I was so embarrassed. I wasn't even going to say that until you started saying that.
No, I put it in I put it in here to say. I'm glad you said that, because that is where they were talking about it.
Yes, because Kris Jenner loves Andrea Swift. Like, they've had good interactions. They've been friendly with each other. They're both momagers. Like,
yes. It is crazy to like think about how that was on the Kardashians.
Right.
We should
so televised.
Rewatch. By the way,
yeah, we should have done that in preparation for this, but
yeah, that episode
we need to make a Patreon and we could be rewatching it with you guys. That'd be iconic.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was just crazy that was even brought up on the Kardashians. Period. I think like that.
Totally.
Considering they literally talk about nothing now. shade.
Full shade.
Full shade.
Yeah. We're still watching, but still full shade.
I know. I can't stop.
Also, this is such a turning point for her. She was so on social media for a lot of her, the beginning of her career. Like, and you really got a deep dive into her life a lot of the times.
Yeah, that's how she honestly just connected with her fans through Tumblr, through Twitter, everything, replying to them. She was very online, like, and communicative with her fans.
And then nothing to go radio silent, even to her fans.
Right. That was the crazy part, to like even cut out the fans.
Yes, because it's like you're saying the Swifties were like chilling, whatever, she's making her new album. But I think like a lot of people also were still like missing her. Like even nowadays,
for sure. Yes.
I do mourn trying to get like a Tumblr interaction or a Twitter interaction from her getting picked for Rep Room and things. Or I say Rep Room because that's like when I was really trying to get there. Was Reputation era actually. But
any of them.
Any of those secret sessions and things. So anyway.
Days after Silence, Taylor posted that cryptic video of it was like a snake slithering like a tail, and then over like I think it was 2 or 3 days it completed the grid. Basically grids was started there, which people still like the grid aligned,
right like actually
make the grid aligned. When she came back there was a solar eclipse, and Taylor was back though, so it really shined it.
Sure.
Like everyone was like, "Oh my god, Taylor's back!"
Eclipse, yeah.
This was 2017, and she appeared with the snake emoji, and then she announced, "Look what you made me do."
Yeah. She posted. What did she post? A teaser or something on it?
A teaser, I think, of the music video. Look what you made me do.
Oh no, she released the entire video, didn't she? Even just like before single wise, the video was out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. And then later,
that's how it was
announced the album.
Right.
But like also take a second to relive that. Look what you made me do. It starts out. The music video starts out with like her grave site. So she was like crawling out of her grave site. Yes. She looked like dirty, disheveled, and the grave said like something like "Mourning the old Taylor."
Yeah,
that was powerful.
That was powerful, and I really loved the video. I really liked the song too, but it was just so different. It was such a stark difference from 1989 and like the rest of her discography. And I think as a fan, you were just like, "What is happening?" Like again, after not seeing her from anything, and I would do anything to go back there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
To see it all play out,
like lobotomize me.
Yeah,
I would love to relive that, but I remember it just being controversial in terms of that, and I think her fans really loved it, and I don't think otherwise it was really widely like loved, specifically the song. And I don't think she did much promo for it at all either.
No, there's no way.
Nothing. There was just not a lot of that. No. It was like kind of like Torture Poets, like where it was radio silent a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and just dropped it, and then she announced tour, I guess. Like,
yeah, right. She's just like, all right, I'm going on tour. And then as Reputation was released, there were a lot of headlines and a lot of news outlets and media things being like, this is flopping. This is a flop. She's a flop. Her stadium tour is going to flop. Her album, no sales, things like that. Although her fan base was loving the stuff that she was putting out.
Yeah, and I think it still continued to like be on all the charts and everything, so it did well. Yes. It was just like overall publicly, like the other part of the public without the Swifties, like weren't into it, I guess. Right,
exactly. Look What You Made Me Do was released August 25th, 2017. That was the first single. Then the second single was Ready For It, released October 24th, 2017. Then Reputation, the album, came out November 10th. 2017, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a time.
And then after that, 4 days later, Endgame was the single. And then then I think the other singles were New Year's Day, Gorgeous, Delicate, Getaway Car. She had a lot of fucking singles from that. But
crazy. They're all good though.
Yeah, so good. Oh my God. Getaway Car, like from the get-go, has always been my favorite on Reputation.
Yes.
And the Getaway
King
Car.
of My Heart.
Oh.
Like all of them. New Year's Day is so special.
Yes.
All of them. And honestly, sorry.
No, go.
In like Era's tour even, Reputation was so fun every time.
Seriously, like I think that looking back at Reputation tour, which I feel like needs its own section in general, because again,
so much to unpack.
That is like my favorite era of not life. It was bad in other aspects, but like that was our saving grace at that time.
It saved us,
you know. And like dancing to those songs with her, I think like those stadium shows sold out. Like people were hyped. The way she had that set up as well was crazy.
It was a crazy.
She had 2 stages.
Yeah. We were, yeah.
An A stage and a B stage.
She had a water fountain on stage.
Oh
she had big snakes.
Yes. Tall ass things.
Tall snakes.
I don't know how she traveled with those.
It was insane.
Yes. And
like fireworks and whatever.
We were talking about this beforehand. The people who opened up for that tour.
I still can't even believe it.
Knock, knock, knock. Charlie XCX and Camila Cabello.
Like, what a duo.
Really, truly. And
they were so amazing.
God. And that was right off of, first of all, Charlie XCX. Is like, that was such a good Charlie XCX era. And then also Camila's era of like after Fifth Harmony and things like that.
Yeah, it was peak like right after she was doing her own solo stuff.
Yeah.
But both of them, like, they were the girls. And like, I just remember that, I think it was maybe the Ohio one we went to. We were by the B stage.
Yeah.
And we were so close to that stage.
We like we said, we bought these tickets on Facebook.
Yeah.
We did not know where we were sitting or anything. We showed up. We were front row of that section, and there was like a little tunnel way, right?
Yeah, where she ran by.
Where she ran from. She actually had 3 stages. Now that I'm thinking back to it,
there was one on the right.
Added 3 stages. She went to from one to the other, danced with Charlie and Camila. Yeah, ran to the other to do dress and something else.
Yes, I remember dress with the big wavy thing. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh my God, yeah. And she had,
but I remember she brought them out, and it was always so special. Like, it felt so special because she just really honored. She still does a really good job at that, of, like, honoring her openers.
And I had never seen that before going to concerts.
No, I think it actually did change a lot.
For sure. First of all, can I also say, like, she always has such good openers.
Red era was
Sean, Ed, Austin Mahone.
Yes.
And then 1989, who opened for 1989?
Oh my gosh, I want to look it up. Vance Joy,
Shawn Mendes, Haim, and James Bay. Yes. Oh my God, so good. She really picks them so well. Yeah. And just in general, that whole show was just so well thought out. Her outfits, I really liked her outfits for that.
Slade.
Like, this is why we can't have nice things again with the fountain. I vividly remember that also from the movie.
Yeah.
Which I actually think was a little bit of a turning point. I remember she was still like very... she did not leave that era unscathed. Like, there was just like this negative cloud around her up until I think that movie came out, and that was a little bit of a turning point. And then after that, there was Miss Americana, the documentary that came out, which I think again showed a whole nother side of her.
I still love that
even
so
as like
much.
a fan who kind of like, you hope that you know somebody's heart through their music,
but you were
kind of getting confirmation.
Yes. In like all ways. Like, she talked about so many things in that documentary, with like her body image, her image with the public, and feeling like she's never going to come back from her peak. Yeah. Which is so crazy to think about now, where she is now.
Totally.
Because it's even bigger.
No, for sure.
And it's so weird to look at those things, because it's like to apply it to your own life, to be like, it just goes so much deeper. Yeah. To be like, wait, this isn't my peak. Like,
you're not over with.
You're not over with.
You're
not. There's Hope Core in Reputation era.
Reputation era, Loki is Hope Core.
It's Hope Core. Wait.
Can I also say I have a little thing about this? Okay, I was doing some research about this, and a lot of people are still under the impression and have the belief that the Reputation album is a Kaylor album. Okay.
So many conspiracies.
And I do have a confession. I have been in and out of like Kaylorism for
sure.
You know what I'm definitely like would not consider myself a Kaylor, but I do think like there have been like certain arguments or like where I get really deep into the hole, and I'm like, you know,
and you can't unsee
it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know, but I think that there is like something about that. I think it's actually reading a timeline, like from a Kaylor account on Tumblr or something. So they had posted this quote that Taylor said: "Reputation in my mind is an album that is very linear in its timeline, meaning that it kind of starts out of where I was when I was making the record. The album ends more of where I am now in my life. So this is more towards the end of the album, where it's like, call it what you want and delicate." And so it kind of led this person into like doing the deep dive into the songs up until that, how they, whatever they believe, that some of them are very
Kaylor coded.
Yeah, and if you don't know what Kaylor is while we're talking about this, it's the theory. It almost sounds insane saying it out loud, but it's the theory that Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss were not just best friends; they were like actually like lovers in a relationship, and that a lot of Taylor's music goes back to them. I personally am what would you call it? A mailer. Like, where I think it actually is called mailer, like a Maddie, like where I think a lot of the stuff that the Kaylors think is about Her, I think, is about Maddie.
100%.
Which makes me just as bad, but...
No, I agree completely.
Yeah.
But it does... if you're in it, you can see the other side, I guess.
Listen, yes. That's why I empathize. But I also think that kind of encapsulates, because not only... Even if they, let's say, they definitely were not ever in one, which I do believe for the most part of me, I do think a lot of this is still about her friendship with Karlie Kloss, like references that. And also, again, that I think really leads up to this era because they were everywhere together. They were such good best friends. I would argue better friends than you and I, and we're sisters.
Wow.
So like, like they were like
means a lot.
doing everything. I know they were doing interviews together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot. They were
like this.
Victoria's Secret fashion shows were on by then.
Yeah.
Like she did her thing there around that time. Walking it.
And they're both very vague about if they're like Karlie showed up to Eras tour last year or 2 years ago, whatever.
Because that's what I was going to say too, is that a lot of the tail end things I think actually ended up coming out. Like you can kind of see the end of Reputation era in Midnights. Like a lot of the songs in Midnights, I feel like you can kind of put
reference to that.
Yeah,
sure.
A little bit.
Connect the dots.
Yeah, especially with Joe, I guess. But it goes both ways. With Karlie, though, they were both living in New York, too, at the time. Like, I think Taylor is mostly in New York.
Yeah,
in her
definitely.
apartment. Cornelius.
Welcome to New York.
In her Cornelia Street apartment. Cornelia Street again.
Which, we could do a whole thing on Lover Era. Lover Era was...
We should.
I always say Reputation Era is my favorite for a different reason, but Lover Era is my favorite for a different reason also.
Yeah.
We already kind of talked about
it. And
it
it's
recently.
so crazy, too, because it was 1989, really great image.
Yeah.
Public image, and then Reputation, and
boom,
and then it goes back into the pastels and like love, like ultra like, lover. In respect, like
moving on.
I get it.
Yes, totally. Can I also just say this is something that we're talking a lot about, like how Reputation was stemmed from drama, but I think a lot of Reputation was actually a really beautiful, heartfelt album. Like I think, like she said at the end, talking about, you know, call it what you want and think whatever, her being in love with Joe Alwyn. But I also think a lot of the other songs are like about a fresh relationship or whatever. Like I only bought this dress for you. Like this was my first time hearing Taylor Swift talk so sexily and openly and like being like, what the fuck, she does that? You know what I mean? Like
you didn't know that side to her yet because she was America's sweetheart.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. It was an insane shift.
We had never really heard her actually rap before.
No.
Big Reputation.
Big Reputation. And Endgame, the Future and Ed Sheeran collab on this album is one of my entire favorite songs in her entire career.
I agree.
It's still so good. And like the whole Future on it was insane.
That's
like,
my
what? And with like it's so random,
when
so
we
good.
were a little bit older, both sprung, getting
so good.
Reputation precedes me. Aromas crazy.
I don't love the drama.
It loves me, and I can't let you go. And then like I did something bad, just being so direct up front, you know, with again her listeners and things. And I think it was such a shift from, I think, again, her la-di-da, like, I wouldn't say la-di-da, but 1989. They're burning all of the witches, even if you aren't one.
You know what today is?
What? National Witch. It's the 333rd. I know.
Years from the
anniversary of the Salem Witch Trial. This is weird that we're filming this on this. Yeah, we're burning all the witches, even if they aren't one. One of the best lyrics on Reputation, in my opinion. Humbly,
so good. And
you know, light me up, light me up.
And you really did see her. Like, I will say about this era, like, she wasn't so... Not that she wasn't public with relationships. Like, she hard launched Joe in this...
For sure.
In this era.
In like, a positive light. Like,
yes.
She would talk more so about her breakups before, whereas this one I feel like was very much so real time. Like, I love this man. I can't help it. I know I'm crazy.
Yes.
But I love him.
I feel like it really shown through this album of, like... He was the rock for her. He really like kept her grounded and like going, and
he didn't care
to the London countryside.
Yeah, indelicate. Is it cool that I said all that? Is it chill that you're in my head? And just like questioning, whatever. And what's the lyric though, where it's like you don't care what they say? You must like me for me.
Yes, like exactly. Like she was feeling it.
Yeah, and I feel like that is really a testament.
Yeah, and then they were at it for so long. Because I just keep referring back to my head where she really talked about him even in Miss Americana, where she was just like, Joe, like I play all my, well, I guess she said that as
before it.
Before it, but he took that video of her playing
yes,
one of the songs, and it was just so
Lisa doing one thing right.
Yes, one thing right, and just strumming on the guitar, and then it was like kind of like overlapped with them like just hanging out like in the field in the winter, like, right. It was so cozy and sweet.
I know, because like those songs are sandwiched in between like Look What You Made Me Do kind of thing and things like that,
which go back and forth.
Yes, it literally does.
When you listen to it, it really does. It hops from like, oh, you want to fight?
Yeah.
To like, oh, I'm in love.
I'll fuck you up. Yeah. To like, wow. And it's like actually so vulnerable, because that is the human existence, especially like, female existence. But
it's, feminine rage.
Right.
Like, we get it.
In an album, you're so right.
It really is.
Because Delicate really is like that vulnerability where it's like, I'm kind of insecure with like how things are going on around me. Like, and I also think that probably really made her really truly believe that he really loved her for her, because especially at that point in life when you're such a huge star and you kind of maybe question whether or not why people are with you or whatever the reason is, you know what I mean? And kind of being like, well, you can't be with me for fame because I'm getting torn apart.
Yes, it was probably a very big, like,
right, like deciding factor of like, I can trust you kind of thing. So I get that.
Loved her at her lowest.
I know. So it goes actually.
So it goes. I love it.
That one actually.
That's what I'm saying. Every single song I could say is my favorite. Even Gorgeous. Like, Gorgeous and having a crush and being single is like.
I know.
Like, I'm gonna stumble up home to my cats.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yes. No, and it kind of like all. Yeah.
I get it.
Alone. Unless you want to come along.
Ding.
You're so gorgeous. And that to me was really special too, because obviously Blake Lively's and Ryan Reynolds' daughter's on it, and I've always just thought that was the coolest, cutest thing ever. Yes. And at Reputation Era or like the tour, whenever you would hear that, I would always
just think about
geek out. I just thought it was so cute. And I think Getaway Car, to me, again from the start, it was always such a great song. Like sonically, that song is a masterpiece. But I also think when you dig deeper into the lyrics of it, it being like, I'm in a getaway car, I left you, like being so real and vulnerable about like you kind of being the disruptor of that situation, and kind of taking ownership in it, but also just being like I don't know, I thought it was so crazy at the time to like hear her explain her maybe wrongdoings or whatever it is in that way, putting herself on blast like she has done other people in the past kind of thing.
It kind of reminds me of like Gracie Abrams, of like how she kind of like
takes ownership of
like being like the worst person.
Yeah.
Which I love, because I get it.
I
get it. Like, I feel like everyone does, but it's whenever someone actually talks about it, it's like everyone wants to play the good guy.
No, totally. I have to look up the lyrics because I'm thinking about it now, and I'm just like, it was the best of times, the worst of crimes. I struck a match and blew your mind. I didn't mean it. You didn't see it. The ties were black, the lies were white, shades of gray and candlelight. I wanted to leave him, but I needed a reason. Like being really upfront.
That's from her saying with Tom Hiddleston.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When she...
Yeah, so this is referencing her relationship with Tom. She wanted to like end things, maybe didn't know how, didn't have the confidence, whatever it is, or I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I do know that happens a lot where, you know what I mean? You see something else shiny and you're like, okay, you know what? I can finally do it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if there were overlap or whatever. I think we kind of went over that as well in our timeline.
It's kind of messy.
It's a little blurry. Don't pretend it's such a mystery. Think about the place where you first met me. And that right there referencing, that was beautiful. That right there referencing when they met, like you can't be surprised that I'm doing this because look at where you met me when I was with Calvin Harris. And you know what I mean? We were dancing. Like I was in a relationship when I met you.
It was all so messy.
Yes.
And also together.
Right. It's kind of like, well, you lose them how you get them, baby.
That's exactly the vibe
like
of
saying
it.
That.
And she's just like, sorry.
Yeah.
Call it, what's it called? Call it what you want to.
Yeah, call it what you want to.
Yeah. I love that song so much. That song has a deep place in my heart of I brought a knife to a gunfight.
Especially with the media at that time being so hellbent on like draining her and just like really, again, it was a heavy focus on that. Like I feel like nowadays there are so many people that are controversial or whatever
and
it is.
Canceled and stuff. But she was like
the heavy focus. Call us whatever. You call us whatever.
Yeah.
You say whatever about me, we're good. Like, King of My Heart, like you mentioned earlier, like, again, just really labeling this as like, this is my king. You know what I mean? Like, that is a hard launch right there. Like, King of My Heart is a hard launch song, period.
Yeah. That's like, romance.
Yeah, this is turning into karaoke. But we met a few weeks ago. Now you're trying to call me baby to like trying on clothes. Salute to me. I'm your American queen. You move to me like I'm a Motown mentioned.
For real.
You know, because all the boys in their expensive cars and the Range Rovers. You don't. I don't need anything from you. Like you don't. I don't need.
I'm good.
I just want your love. And then another one of my personal favorites at that time was "This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things." Actually,
gonna say that
still
too.
It is
surprise song. That was our surprise song.
Oh my god, it was
at Toronto.
Remember?
And I was
remember.
Girl, I remember.
Do you? No, literally
like,
though.
I collapsed. That song means everything to me. I've always related to it, I guess.
Right. No, genuinely, because it is like that feeling of when you finally forgive someone. And I would think it would be a little bit harder and more annoying and piss me off even more if like other people knew that something happened between us that I forgave you and then you still fucked it up again and fucked me over. Like I would be so livid. And so it's like, this is why we can't have nice things, because you take them and you break them. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
and that is like the prequel also to like My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, but like different, obviously, but like similar stories where it's like you have something good, you're fine, and then you ruined it again.
Like you did that.
Yep.
Could have been so good, but you had to go and break it.
Yep. Here's a toast to my real friends. They don't care about the he said, she said. And this is where she said it too. Here's to my baby. He ain't hearing what they call me lately. That's what I was referencing.
Yes.
And here's to you, because forgiveness
is a nice thing to do.
I can't even say it with a straight face.
To the memories that will hold on to you. Hold on.
Wait.
I'll never forget the next New Year's.
I have to talk. I actually have a conversation I need to have with you later about starting a cover band. I'm not even kidding. Jared and I have been talking about this, that we need to start a cover band.
Where we just cover songs?
Yes.
Wait, I saw that.
Taylor Swift, 1975. Halsey.
That would be amazing because we would have our creative fun with it.
We could do
But
anything.
then we could also make our own music videos. I actually saw this girl, it came up on my... I actually don't get a lot of new people on my page on YouTube.
Right. Oh.
Ever.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Unless I'm in the new tab.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But she came up and it was like Frances, like role model Frances. And she did her own cover to it with a music video.
Oh, I love that.
And I was like, I want to do that.
That's what we should do.
Like, it was like just homemade, like music star vibes.
Listen, when we have our cover band tour, we will see you there.
Like,
and we'll start with New Year's Day because... We'll be cleaning up.
That'd be beautiful. That would be a really pretty ballad between us. Very stripped.
That's what I'm saying.
And then we could get a DJ board and just remix it.
No, it's not. We're gonna do it all. Why be one thing when you can be all? All in all, though, Reputation era. I don't know, you guys. Again, lobotomize me. I would sign up for that. Oh my God. I shouldn't say that. I actually shouldn't say that. It's really wishing bad things. But you know what I'm saying? Like in theory,
you should go do a puzzle now.
If I could just have a dream where I didn't remember it and I could. If I could rewatch Call Me by Your Name for the first time, listen to Reputation for the first time, find out that Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy are dating for the first time, normal people. Oh my God, all of those things.
I think I'm in my Reputation.
You know, I like that for you.
Like I'm feeling like Bleachella.
Yeah, lately. Retweet. Definitely. You're in your Bleachella. You need to chop it just now to hear. Don't tempt her. Don't tempt her, guys.
Look away.
Yeah, literally. I loved Eras Tour, but Reputation Tour was it wasn't intimate, but like it was still just so special. Again, we touched her hand. Don't know if we mentioned that or not on this channel 8 million other times.
I literally, when we touched her hand, I literally was about to throw up.
Yeah, Jamie did. I actually think
I remember
you were in your throw up era.
I was like
too.
Gagging.
Jamie used to throw up all the time.
No, I used to have an era of like when I was anxious, I just throw up.
Yeah, so that almost happened.
Anything would trigger it.
Mm-hmm. I also got drunk for the first time. I've mentioned this before too. Fond memories of Reputation Tour. You know what I'm saying? First time ever drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting because it is so special and like intimate in that way. We got an inside look to her life that we like missed out on for that year or so.
And she hasn't done since.
Right, and she hasn't done. But at the same time, it is so devastating for her. Mm-hmm. Like it's not a good time for her.
No.
So weird.
That's how most things are, though. It's like, oh, you had to go through a breakup, but now I get a really good song.
Yeah.
Oh, darn.
Yeah,
I get it. there will be no explanation. There will just be reputation. And I feel that. That's why I'm saying, like, we got to get on this. This might be a 3-part series. We might even go into...
I'm ready.
What was the next one? About, like, the kind of clowning around reputation and just really diving into all of the clues and when we maybe think reputation, Easter eggs,
all of the things.
Because we're excited. And then we would also love to react to reputation, of course, when it does come out. But I think that we want to break down all of the songs as well. I'm so curious about the Vault
Those
songs.
are going to be the juiciest.
Yes, I agree. Because that's what I'm saying is, to me, the original is always going to, like, that's my controversial Swiftie take, is that the original, like, I listened to the Taylor's version ones, but the original always, like, without the Vault tracks, to be honest, like, the Vault tracks is probably why I even go and click on the new ones. Again, that might crucify me. I don't know what else to say, but, like, they keep me going back to the Taylor's version. But when I do hear the other ones, I'm like, man, like that one. What's the one where it's like Last Kiss? No, it's Last Kiss from Speak Now, and she's supposed to go, and she doesn't do this. That breaks my heart every time I hear the Taylor's version one.
I know.
I used to like cry to that just so I could cry through that part with her.
I remember that. Why didn't she do
whatever.
that? Like, I guess, get it?
Whatever.
Get it, I guess?
Anyway, let us know down below when you think Reputation will drop. I think it's going to happen this year, though. I think it's going to be in like April, May, June, like the start of the era.
I think so, too. Yeah. Tell us your favorite song, too.
Please.
Or favorite thing, favorite meme.
Oh my God, a Reputation meme.
Iconic moment, I guess. Not meme, but iconic moment.
Yeah, I like that. Please. Ours is Bleachella. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, mine. I'm speaking for you, but mine is Bleachella. I love Bleachella. I want that picture of her in Bleachella at Coachella framed right here. Right here.
You need it blown up like a statement. Like, it's like the new Marilyn Monroe. With the drop
off right now. I'm literally going to order that right now.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. I got to go do that. Bye, guys.